for the standard 10 and 11 test on Friday, December 16th. Please excuse my voice. I'm really not feeling good, so just bear with me as I go through this. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we combine like terms and everything. I'm going to use some highlighters. I have pens too. I just want to make sure that that I have everything. So just bear with me. So combining like terms. When you are adding or subtracting, you want to combine like terms. So like terms are something that has the same variable. So for example, in the first one, z's go with z's, h's go with h's. So this answer would be 4z plus 2z, which is 6z. And then 6h plus a negative 7h would be just a minus h. On the next one, 2x squared doesn't combine with anyone. 4x hangs out with x, and then the numbers hang out together, so pink plus nothing, so 2x squared. 4x plus an x, 5x, and then 3 plus a negative 3, 0, so that would be it for that answer. On the next one, same thing. 3r minus a 6r would be a negative 3r. Negative 4 minus a minus 7 becomes negative 4 plus 7, which would be plus 3. 2k squared, there's no k squared, so 2k squared. Plus k minus 4k would be a minus 3k. Negative 2 minus 5 would be a negative 7. So that's adding and subtracting. The next thing you have is multiplying. Make sure you actually multiply, and I'm going to show distribution because I want to make sure that you do it correctly for the harder problem. So 3b into, you can write this out. I'm just color coding so we can see what's going down. So it's going to be 3b times the second parenthesis, 2 times the second parenthesis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute 3b times everything and then 2 times everything. So this gives me 3b squared minus 12b, which gives me 2b minus 8. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine like terms. So whatever signs you have, you're going to combine like terms. So negative 12 and a positive 2, 3b squared and an 8. So my final answer would be 3b squared minus 10b minus 8. The next one, you can distribute with the first one times the second, or you can take the second times the first. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use the second one times the first because it's less distribution parts, excuse me. It's one and the same, but I'm going to take 4x and minus 2 times the whole parenthesis of 2x to the 5th plus x to the 4th minus 5x squared plus 3, and then negative 2 times the 2, same thing, excuse me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down my answers down below. So whatever I get for the product of the pink is going to go here, and whatever I get the product for the yellow is going to go right underneath it. And combine like terms. So 4x times 2x to the 5th is going to be 8x to the 6th, because you're going to take 1x here and 5x is here. 4x to the 4th times x to the 4th is going to be plus 4x to the 5th. 4x minus 5x squared, so negative 20x cubed. 4x times 3, positive 12x. Same thing down below. I'm going to use the negative 2 times everything, so negative 2 times 2, 5x to the 5th, so negative 4x to the 5th. Negative 2 times x to the 4th, negative 2x to the 4th. Negative 2 times x squared, so negative 5x squared is going to give me a 10x squared. Negative 2 times 3, that's going to give me a negative 6. And then what we're going to do is we're going to combine like terms. Now, you have very little like terms. So my final answer is going to be really long. 8x to the 6. These ones here cancel out. So when they combine, they cancel out. And then I have an x to the 4th, so minus 2x to the 4th. I have an x cubed minus 20x cubed plus 10x squared plus 12x minus 6. I strongly recommend that you write this one out from highest exponent to lowest exponent just because it's easier to see it. So the next one we're going to do is longhand division. Longhand division is going to be number 8, and the reason why 8 is going to be longhand division is because a is not equal to 1. Whoops, moved it too far. So with this one, with a not equal to 1, we're going to put 5x minus 3 on the outside. And I'm going to put 30x squared minus 3x plus 8. All right, so I'm going to highlight this 5 in front. Ooh, should highlight it first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say what times the yellow gets me 30x squared. So 5 times 6 would get me 30, and x times x would get me x squared. So I need 6x. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number I just wrote down here times 5x, so 30x squared. And then I'm going to take this 6x times negative 3, which is negative 18x. Subtract them. The first numbers will cancel out. Negative 3 minus a negative 18 is going to be a positive 15x. And I'll bring down this 8. What times 5 gets me 15? Because once again, we're looking at this first number here. It's going to be 3, and there's already an x, so I don't need an x, so plus 3. 3 times 5 is 15x. 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 15x minus 15x, which is going to be canceled out. 8 minus a minus 9 is going to be a positive 17. And since I have no more x's, that's my remainder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my original problem, 6x plus 3, plus whatever my remainder is, positive or negative, 17 over 5x minus 3. And that's your answer. All right, synthetic division. So for those who have not been here, I'm going to do every part for this. So a is equal to 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to take what you're dividing by and set it equal to 0, and you're going to get y equals 2. That number is going to go in the box. So there's this little box, there's a row, and there's an arrow. This number goes in the box, it's opposite whatever you're dividing by, and whatever numbers you have going across, here, we're going to make sure that we have. So the coefficient is 1, x cubed, negative 1, x squared, negative 4, x, and then 7. There are no zeros here because there's no holes. So if a number was missing, so say x squared was not there, we would have a 0 here instead. So all we do is we bring down this first number. That's what the arrow means. We're going to take whatever number's down here times the box. Positive 1 times 2 is 2. Right underneath the next number. Add that column together. So negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. And I'm left with a 3. So what happens is we started with x cubed up here. We divided an x out, so our answer now starts with x squared. So we have x squared, because these are all the coefficients of our remaining depressed polynomial / answer, plus x minus 2 plus, since this last number is always our big remainder, is going to be 3 over what we divided by y minus 2. So this would be my final answer here. Because that r is there, I'm going to circle it out. So that's standard 10. I'm going to do a separate video for standard 11. Actually, no, I'm just going to do standard 11. Hold on. Lights are going off in my classroom. All right, so standard 11. Standard 11 is literally 2 questions. One is you pick all the values from a graph, okay? And then you do the end behavior, and then you have graphing of an equation, which I think I have a graph calculator by me to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color code so I can find what I'm looking for, but you still have to write them out. You can't just color code them. So y-intercept is the one where it's 0 and then a number. So that's my y-intercept right there. Zeros are right across the x-axis where the y is 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to write all 4 of those out, which will be annoying, I know, but it'll be fine. Relative mins, every minimum value. So your minimum values, excuse me, are the lowest points on the graph. And then your max is going to be the highest value. Okay? You do have to write these out. So 0.736, comma 3.559, negative 2.253, comma negative 4.231. End behavior. End behavior is going to be what's happening as x approaches positive infinity. So positive infinity, remember what's happening at the right side of the graph. This is positive. Negative infinity is what's happening on the left side of the graph, which is negative. And then is it odd or even? Remember, if the, positive. It is positive, Pomeroy. It's not going down, it's positive. Since they're both facing the same way, this is an even function. All right, so the graphing one is not too hard. So you're going to go to y equals and you go type in the graph. So I have 4x to the 5th minus 8x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus 10x squared plus x minus 2, enter. And hit graph. Okay, so what we see is we have a max, a min, and a min. Now, if you can't see it very well, if you hit zoom in to, and you hit enter on the center, you should be able to see your zeros a little bit clearer. Now, your min might be missing. Okay, so I'm not sure if I can get the min off of this, but we'll try based on my screen. So second calc, 0, and I'm going to start all the way over here on the left side. Okay, so I'm going to do left side, enter, and I'm going to go up roughly near the peak, but not exactly at the peak, enter, and I'm going to hit enter again. I'm going to get a 0. Okay, now, color coding your points. There's not much room. So if you don't have enough room to write everything, that's fine. Zeros, Z1 would be negative 1 comma 0. Okay. Y-intercept, before I forget to do this one, y-intercept is whatever the value is, so it's just going to be 0 comma negative 2, and I'm going to go plot that point real quick. Negative 2. Now, if you color code your points, all my stuff here is black, so you should label everything when you get done, and I'll show that here in a second. I'm going to calculate out the next 0, second calc, 0. So I'm going to start here at the top. Then I'm going to arrow past, somewhere down here on the bottom, enter, enter, negative 0.5, comma 0. So Z2, negative 0.5, comma 0. So I have one at negative 1, and I have one at 0.5. Second calc again. I'm going to go down here to the bottom somewhere, enter, and cross past my 0 up to roughly the top, enter. And it is 0.5, so Z3 is 0.5, comma 0. And last but not least, second calc, 0. I said that too soon. We have like a few more to do. Go past it. Gives me 1, 0. Dots are almost on top of each other. Second calc, 0. Go past on the left side of the 0. Oops, went too far. Past it, enter, 2, 0. All right, so those are my zeros. All right, so the next thing I have to do is my mins and maxes. So second calc. I'm gonna do my mins next. So I'm gonna go back to the left side, so I go left to right. You're gonna be on the left side of the graph, or the min, and then you're gonna go to the right side of the min. Enter, enter. Oh, I knew that was gonna be icky. All right. So min is at negative 0.05, comma, negative 2.02. Second calc, min. And I don't know if this one's going to work. I know that light is right there. I'm sorry. Turn that off for a second. Now, I'm going to try this without having to zoom out. Oh, it gave it to me. That's awesome. So, 1.68, comma, negative 6.00. That's what I rounded to. Ooh, those are beautiful. All right. So, plot those. So, negative 0.05, which is going to be like right on top of it. So, like this dot is like right on top of that. And then 1.68 and negative 6, so 2, 4, 6. Roughly there. And then last we have is maxes. Right? Yeah, got maxes left. Alright. Max. Since I have 2 of them, I'm going to calculate them out again. Second calc. Max. Enter. Enter, enter, and this is going to be my second one. So 0.77, comma, 0.69. Second calc, max. Make sure you go to the left side of the max that you want. Negative 0.80, comma, 1.57. All right. So negative 8.0, 1.57, roughly there, 0.77, and 6.9. Oh, I did that wrong. Ignore that dot. 0.77, 0.67. I went the wrong way. I did negatives. It's like, that's not right, because I want to connect. All right. So ignoring that dot that has an X on it, we're going to connect our lines. I don't expect it to be perfect, but I expect this part to be perfect. Okay, now since I color coded, I don't have to really show anything, but it's not that hard to go min. Oh my gosh, my lights went out. Y-intercept. Those are maxes, and then zeros. I mean, there you go, zeros. Like, they're right next to each other and whatnot. Color coding pens or highlighting them would be fine, but you have to write them out. Once again, highlighting up here is fine to figure out where your points are, but you do have to write them out. There you go. There's your quiz and answers. Took me 20 minutes and that was with explaining, so if you know what you're doing, probably 15, you'll be fine.